huge dome of heat is forming right now over the western US. This will affect millions across the country as we transition from a historically stormy May into the hotter months of summer. In fact, since late April, we have seen over 600 tornadoes, 1,500 reports of hail, and over 4,000 reports of severe wind, making this year the second most active year in the past 2 decades. But will the active stretch continue as this new heat builds in? Well, the dome of heat moving in now should suppress the crazy numbers of tornadoes we saw last May, but this big ol' heat ridge may not last very long, and I expect activity to ramp back up later in June. You see, for the past month, we have seen this huge area of scorching hot water temperatures over the North Pacific, which has allowed a big bulge in the jet stream to form overhead. This brought down tons of colder air from Canada over the Rockies and kept the eastern US warm and stormy. However, we are now starting to see it all collapse despite the warmer waters. Right now, that ridge over the Gulf of Alaska is being replaced by a trough, and that is going to completely flip our whole pattern around. Now you might be thinking, well, thank goodness we won't have to deal with that nasty weather for a while. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean it'll be all sunshine and rainbows. We have an abundance of sunshine right now across much of the western and central US, but there comes a point where it is just too much, especially when combined with heat. And Mother Nature is ready to deliver the heat. In fact, over the next 10 days, we are going to be consistently battling triple-digit temperatures from Texas and Oklahoma all the way through to California with the heat indices above 110. Now maybe you're saying, but Packy, it's June and it should be getting warmer, right? Well, yes, you're right, but we got big time anomalies with this new pattern. Comparing our hundreds to the average for this time of year, some spots in the southwestern plains and the southern Rockies are going to be seeing temperatures exceeding 20 degrees above average on multiple days between now and June 15th. Additionally, the heat we're going to be feeling out here will only add to the stress of the ongoing drought in parts of the southwestern and south central US. So if you are planning to go out into the heat, be sure to stay hydrated and take breaks. There is some good news though. These hot waters in the Gulf of Alaska should prevent this scorcher over the US from lasting more than a couple of weeks, but it will probably get stormy again then by late June. But before we get into late June, what about the rest of us here in the east? Well, Mother Nature is going to try to balance out the heat in the west by dropping this cold front all the way down to the Gulf Coast by tomorrow. This will usher in much colder and unsettled weather for much of the Great Lakes, southeast, and northeast. I mean, our temperatures all the way down here in South Alabama and areas adjacent are likely to see the 60s at night through the majority of the next 10 days, and up to the north into Tennessee we could be dealing with the 50s. This colder weather will also lead to the opposite of sunshine persisting out west with dull gray skies and showers, particularly in the northeast and Great Lakes. I do expect it to warm up again some by mid-June, but that's a lot of days to be soaking in the chilly air and the daily showers. Okay, so I've been talking about when this pattern change will end and how we may eventually shift away from the southwest heat dome, and early signs are that this anomalously warm Gulf of Alaska water should keep the heat dome from sitting still over the Rocky Mountains for more than a week or two. But as of now, I think the most likely solution is that this ridge is going to shift a bit east over the plain states by about the second half of June. By that point, the heat dome is going to act more like a ring of fire, sending waves of severe storms around it from Colorado up to the Dakotas and down through the Midwest and Southeast. I don't think it is too likely that we're going to see some of the higher end severe weather we saw in May by late June, but if that does seem likely, I'll be bringing you a video update here and we'll be streaming to give you that warning and keep you all safe. Lastly, I think it is worth mentioning that the tropics are beginning to wake up and some models are hinting at some mischievous Caribbean activity. Although, I think it is more likely that anything that does form will be in the Eastern Pacific. If anything does threaten the US in the near term, you will see more videos and streams here about that as well. So big changes are coming to the US weather patterns, and it will be good to stay ahead of the curve and be prepared, even if it's not for a tornado. I appreciate you all for watching, and if you found this forecast useful or enjoyable, you will find our May tornado footage thrilling. Take care.